Hey guys, how you doing? This is Chris Conlon with Venom VFX, and I am joined today with Mr. Lee Alder, the programmer and one of the innovators of the Venom Hydra. So I'm going to bring Lee on. He's going to showcase the Venom Hydra. So let's pull Mr. Lee up here, and hello, Lee.
Hello, haunters. How are all the twisted people out there that love Halloween, like us here at Venom VFX? I'm going to show you basic setup of the Venom Hydra controller and to show you just how easy it is to use this thing. Your time is better spent trying to scare the daylights out of other people, so we decided to make this product and we made it easy to set up. As you can see, this is the main screen of the Venom emergency controller. It's showing an IP address which actually points to the outside world, and we use this for testing. Your haunt, it'll be different. It can be an inside number, an outside number, just depends. We're going to click on the setup button up here in the corner, and we have general setup, and we'll put in our haunt name here. And we can call this, the name of our company is Wingo Haunts Incorporated, LLC. That sounds nice. The off code is designed for turning off alarms once you've validated that it's false or everybody's out and you no longer need it making noise. This is a number you will keep to yourself and maybe one or two people. You don't give this out to everybody. Let's see, update settings, and now let us add a haunt. What would be a good name for a haunt? How about Grandma's Room? And yeah, that's a southern spelling with many O's. Room O Death. I don't think anybody's taken that one yet. Now we have Grandma's Room O Death. At this point, we can actually edit a zone and add zones. Let's add one, and we'll call this Zone 1. And the name will be, say, Front Door, where people come in. We can go all the way through and add as many zones as we want for your scare actors to be hiding in. This gives them an ability to trigger an alert in a specified area so that you have a better chance of getting your emergency services, your medical, your fire directed to the correct area as soon as possible. When seconds, count for lives, we're trying to locate this to as close as you can to big areas or geographically known areas or large landmarks. Let's add another zone here. We'll call this Zone Sequence 2. And the zone name here will be the Hallway of Past Relatives. I don't know about you all, but my grandmother's got pictures of all kinds of people who are dead. So I'm beginning to wonder if it's not something genetic in my makeup, but let's get it. What if you forgot something and you want to add a zone in between 1 and 2? Very easily. We'll call this 1.25. You have numbers 0, 1 through 99 in between 1 and 2. So you can literally add 100 more zones. If you accidentally go, hey, I think we need one more here, or you forgot to put in the Kitchen of Doom, let's put it in at 1.5. Yes. Kitchen O Doom. And now we have our basic haunt setup. We go back to our status page and we can see that Grandma's Room O Death has 3 zones. If we jump into the remote side and take a look at what it looks like, or what the people see on the end, when they first, I got to point, take that down. All right, stop this. We're back to Lee. Hey, there's Lee. Let's go back to screen share, and this time, this is what your haunt people, your haunt actors, your scare actors, or just the people you designate to watch and make sure everything's fine, this is what they will see on their cell phone when they go to the specific web address that you have set up. So I will put in my name, Lee. Now here you would put in your phone number, your area code, your full number. I'm not going to actually allow this thing to call out, so I'm just going to put in one number, and I'm going to set the phone carrier for none. Now what will happen here is we will actually push out an SMS message, but to ensure that it goes to everybody and that there's not any problems or confusion, we have to use an email gateway. So we kind of need to know which phone carrier to send it to, like T-Mobile, uh, Alltel, Boost, Singular, Nextel, Sprint. Well, don't know about Sprint. What the heck, right? Or Ting, for that matter. All right, we have our phone carrier set, our phone number. I will click Log Me In, and here is my main interface for everybody else that is in the haunt. And don't click the Log Out button, or it will log you out, just like it did there. This is what everybody will see while they're using the system. They pull it up on their phone. These little buttons are touch sensitive on their screen, and basically all we're going to do here is push a button, and now you see that these buttons are showing the different zones. We can do the same thing with the fire. We can do the same thing with a security request. Maintenance, the same way. And as you notice, each one has their own color. So if you're trying to find them at night, medical is yellow, fire is red. Actor lighting is basically so that actors can have a chance to get into place before the haunt opens. They can get into their little hiding holes, make sure everything is set so that they can actually perform their scare routine without hitting anybody or falling over something. I'm going to issue now a medical alert, and we're going to the Kitchen o' Doom. As you can hear, that sound is actually coming through the speaker of the system. And if we jump over to this panel, we can see, well, apparently, no, we cannot. There we go. Let's go back to this, share screen. There we go. This is on the main screen, right there. And this is showing that you have an alert showing in this area. We go back to this, and we put in our off code. There we go, and we've turned it off. And everybody is back to green. We can also see these two top ones here, the medical and the fire, will issue alarm sounds. They set off lights, they set off klaxons, all kinds of alarms, and it's really easy to set up the emergency lights. We've made it just, it's a case of adding wire and speaker clips, and bingo, here you go. Security and maintenance and actor lights don't fire off alarms, but they do indicate statuses for you. So here we have a security alert. We need somebody to come and escort somebody who's being a bit unruly off of the premise. Same thing with the maintenance and the actor lights. At the end of the night, your user would simply click the Log Me Out button. Now they are no longer into the system, and when you're done for the evening, you can pull. The basic programming is a web page, and then once it's there, and you just simply monitor it. It actually will play the noise through your HDMI TV monitor, and it makes the phones shake and plays the alert tone through the phone speaker. So you're using something that the kids are already going to have on hand. They got the cell phone here, let's use it for something. It's wireless, it's mobile, and they don't have to read or find anything. It's right there. Sign in, you give it all the information you need, and push on the button. That's all you have to do. And that will set off a fire alert or a medical alert or a security. This is to totally make it in the event that if somebody panics, What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Medical. Boom. That's it. That's all you got to do. Now everybody is going to know about it. You don't have to go, quick, what's the number for 911? We're finished, janitor, so...
Well, I mean, we made the interface extremely easy for any user to use. And we also have made it so you don't have to have pull stations or anything like that. But a lot of people have been asking, have we developed a way to integrate that into the system? And the question is yes, the Hydra does come with multiple inputs and outputs. One of the outputs is designated for pull stations. And here I have one right here. And it gets wired up real easy. You simply run the wire that we supply to the back of here. And you feed it all the way to the Hydra. And if somebody pulls it down, it activates the system. And it will also come up saying on the Hydra screen, fire alarm pull station has been activated. Along with that, we've supplied all our lights. This is the Venom urgency light right here that I'm holding. And this light is an effect light. It flickers, it strobes, it does all the fun stuff. And if a power outage occurs, that's where these adapters come into play. On the output of the Hydra, you'll see one that says emergency lighting. All you got to do is run your main output to a bus bar. And a bus bar you can get from Lowe's are real cheap. You have one side negative, one side positive. And then you feed the next line to this or to any light that we supply you that you pick up from us. And in case of a power outage, this will be flickering and then power goes out. These come on solid. Very bright, very solid. And they only draw 0.03 of a milliamp. So it's very, very, very low.
That's one thing I'm really liking because you're putting... Instead of having to try to put up two different lights, one for effect and then one for emergency, we've basically integrated the two into one. So why not have it be in effect up until the time we go, no, now we have a problem, click, and it becomes a real live, honest to goodness emergency light.
Exactly. And, you know, we wanted to take a lot of the hard work out of it. Like, for instance, it doesn't get any more simpler than hooking up the red and black. And we do have, if you buy a Hydra through the company, you right away, right out of the gate, you get 1,000 feet of 22 gauge wire. And it's more than enough to suffice for this. And 1,000 feet will get you a long way. And, you know, right there alone is an amazing thing. We also supply you 50 feet of rope light. The cage lights that hang from the ceiling. We use those a lot in the actor lighting. It's recommended for actor lighting and emergency. So if the power goes out, not only will our lights kick on, also your emergency lights will kick on if you have them, and the actor lights will turn on. So already right out of the gate, you're already getting a lot of light for your buck, and you're getting an amazing interface. So that's with any Venom light. So once you become on the Venom list, if you're a Venom customer, right away, if you order a light through us, we already put the adapter in the light for you to start using the Hydra as its backup power solution. If you're not on the list as a Hydra client, we are not going to put the adapter in because it's actually not going to do you any good to have it there. So this is the Hydra connection right here. And you just simply plug in the red where the red goes and black where the black goes. And we're talking drawing milliamps here, not amps, milliamps. Even the 50 feet of lighting, the actor lighting, only draws 1.2 amps. And we give you a 7.5 hour battery, amp hour battery. That's more than enough to suffice. The NFTA law is 90 minutes. In an emergency situation.
Our calculations was 5 hours.
Yeah, like five hours or so. So we definitely got you covered.
You have a problem and you're still there 5 hours later.
And your power's still off. You got a problem. Now we also supply you with a big question has been rate of rise sensors. Can we integrate fire alarms into this, like heat sensors? The answer is yes. It's already been done. We do sell them on our website. They react when it reaches 135 degrees Fahrenheit. So then it trips the sensor, it sends it immediately to the Hydra and can sound off alarms. Now, speaking of alarms, we do offer alarms. We have the fire alarms that can come with our stuff. They're 105 decibels loud each, and they have a strobe feature. They're extremely loud, very annoying, but we'll definitely get the message across that you need help or a fire has been activated. We could set it up to that phase. It's so easy to operate this system that we've literally taken out the guesswork. If you see the input and you want to use a drop pull station, put it where the pull station goes. And there again, you're going to use the bus bar to link into it. It's very, very easy. Same thing with your sensors. Same thing with your output for your lighting. Same thing if you want to trigger lighting to happen. Like if you have a medical emergency, you want a strobe light to go off. All you got to do is put it to the output of, of that relay. And we tell you which one it is. It's literally plug and go. So we really taken out the guesswork.
You might want to also bring up the fire panel interface for the building.
Yeah, that was a big question that was asked. A lot of codes in a lot of states have now acquired that the haunted house or the haunted attraction should have their own system and a building should have its own system, and the two should integrate. And we have bridged the gap, yes. There is a relay that we do supply. It's in there. We have it labeled, and all the fire department or fire alarm company has to do is hook into that relay. And we tell you all about it in the user manual. It's very easy, and it's done and over with for you. Now the two systems are integrated and can work side by side. So if their alarm trips, our alarm trips. If our alarm trips on a fire, their alarm will trip on a fire alarm. So that's the way it goes. That's one of the newer. It's not newer. We've had it this whole time, but people have been asking. I know another one of the code changes was if the power goes out, they need a sound. You need some sort of an alarm to notify people that there's a power outage. We do supply those. The alarms run off the battery backup system, and they're 105 decibels loud. So we definitely have everything there for you. And we supply you with a lot right out of the gate. So, but I would definitely steer anybody that goes with the Venom Hydra to definitely look into getting some of the lighting. I mean, like this is just one. We have the bunker lights, the fluorescent lights, the bulkhead lights, the urgency light. You name it. Pretty much any light that Venom puts out can have the adapter in it, and they're very, very bright when they turn on.
That's correct. We designed the whole system to work with these lights, and Chris designed all the lights. I mean, really well to work as both a prop and an emergency function. So you're going to light it up a little bit like Christmas Day if we have a problem, which I'm sure your fire marshal's really going to love when you demo it for them. And boom, there's enough light to get out. We don't want anybody hurt.
Exactly, and we made it very, very easy. So that is the Venom Hydra in a nutshell. If anybody has any questions, feel free to contact myself at venomvfx@gmail.com. Or you can probably reach out to Lee on Facebook, and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to help you. So that is the Venom Hydra, and I'm going to leave you guys on this note. Okay guys, this is our 4-foot fluorescent light fixture effect. It comes with any color that you like. Right now we are running the cool whites in it. It comes with a remote control or an inline controller. We hit mode, you will see that it cycles through different modes, and you can change the speeds and the brightness on these modes. It runs off a 12 volt DC, and it does come with the power adapter to plug directly into 110. Plug it in, and away you go. This is the Hydra connection that we put with some of our units. If you have the Hydra or the Viper, all you have to do is run the cord that we supply you to the red and the black, just like you're hooking up a speaker, and instantly this turns this light into an emergency light as well as a special effect light. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Chris Conlon, and welcome back. We're going to go over the Hydra system more in depth for you guys, as well as the hiss and any Arduino programming that you guys are running into snags with. So I'm going to bring in Lee Alder here. He's the programmer for Venom VFX, and we're going to let him start off by talking about the Venom Hydra and its capabilities and what it does as a program, as well as we're going to be answering any of your questions. So if you have any questions, post them in the comment box on YouTube, or you can post them up on our Facebook page where it says place comments here. All right, so here's Lee. Lee, how you doing?
How are you doing, Chris? I'm fine. Let's talk about the Hydra. Yeah. Emergency controllers. Yes, the bane and headache of most haunt owners. I'm sure the fire marshal comes in and goes, "What happens if a meteorite strikes a building?" Well, at that point, I think you're pretty much food. But for fire and medical, security, maintenance, or even just actor lighting, we have a very simple product that we have designed. We looked at this and we said, okay, how can we make this easy? Because a haunt owner has got really one thing in mind. Customers, get them through the system, scare them to death, let them have a good time so they'll come back and spend more money. You need something that will operate without you always having to watch over it or hover over it. And I think the Venom will do this. Basically, every kid in the world has got one of these and they are glued to it like rubber. Well, guess what these things have? These things have a browser. Using internet-based and web technology, we are actually using this gizmo that you can't pry out of their hands as your alert system. I'm going to click over to our main setup screen and just give you a few demos of just basically setting this thing up. Turn on the share, click right there, here we go. This is the main screen of the Venom emergency controller. This is the default setting. We got Haunt 1, Haunt 2, got some checkpoints. There's an actor logged in, go figure. No, that would be me. We click here on the setup button and go into general setup. Here we can put in our name here, and we can call this Lost Hope of Profits Haunt. This off code is the default is 6869. This is so that you can turn off an alarm once it's found to be false or the problem has been taken care of. We don't suggest that you give that to everybody. You just retain that one for you. So let's just update our settings. Let's go into haunts now. Let's get rid of these default haunts, so to speak. There we go. Now we have no haunts. Let us add a haunt here and we'll call it My Sister the Monster. Who has a sister who's a monster? Oh, I do. Okay, well, there we go. And once we set this up, if we go to our main page, you can see, hey, My Sister the Monster. That's our haunt. Back to setup, haunts, and now we're going to add zones. Zones give us a way of identifying where the problem is in a short amount of time. You want to use descriptive text like the front door. So let's add the front door. Add the sequence. Zone sequence will be zone sequence 1. The zone name will be the front door. Supposedly, you will get many people who are going, yes, I'm brave, until they have to cross that threshold. And then all of a sudden it's like, ah! Gotta run, run, run. Okay. Our next one will say zone sequence number 2. We'll call this the hallway of doom. And then all of a sudden you think, oh, I forgot one. You got to walk through the living room. How am I going to get one in between 1 and 2? Well, as you notice, 1 and the 2 both have dots and double zeros. That is so that you can use the numbers 0, 0, all the way up to 99 to insert sequences in between these. So you have basically 100 sequences you can put in between these two. let's add one. We'll call this one 1.50, 150, and we'll call it the living room of the smelly redid. It reanimated, brought back to life, but they weren't dead in the first place. And now we've got our zone set up. Let's go back to our status page. You can see that anything that is brought up or changed in the setup happens immediately. It's all dynamic, so you don't have to call us up to say, how do I add one? Click here, fill it in. Now, let's pull up our controller, and now we're seeing this is what all your haunt actors and actresses will be seeing on their phones. They have a medical button, a fire button, a security button, a maintenance button, and actor lighting. Actor lighting is used to their auxiliary lights used before the haunt is actually open so that your haunt actors can get into place, position, and make sure everything's good. So say they have a medical emergency. They click this button, and now they have three choices: front door, living room of the smell, hallway of doom. All you have to do is click that, and as you can hear, the alarm goes off. Here it is asking for an off code, and if they don't know it, they can't put it in. So you keep it to you, and on the front, that's 6869. There we go. Same thing with the fire. Okay. And there we go.
Now, Lee, how would they get, just so they know, how do they get from the, if their actors got to sign in, how would the haunt owner or manager know where to send their actors to and how to do that? Because we supply them with the router, and we name it their haunt. So let's say it's Geneva Great Haunted House or whatever we want to call it. How would they know where to send their actors to as far as the IP address? Like, how would they be able to tell them how to do that?
It actually shows on the front page. If we go back to this, the IP address of this, once they join that particular number, it shows right here. So if they put that number directly in to their system, it will take them to a logon page. And I'll show that right here. Well, yeah, there we go. And there it is. I'm already logged in, but their phone, all they have to do is basically put that IP number in, and Bob's your uncle, so to speak. There we go. Okay, let's back to this and set this one off. Well, after a while, that noise gets to be quite irritating. Let's do a reset here. There we go. And if we re-update this, it shows that we're not logged in. We'll go back to this. And none logged me. There we go. Shoo. There we go. As you can see on this setup, we've got the medical requested, and it's showing here on our main screen, medical alert triggered by Lee, checkpoint number 3. And this will stay that way up until the time we off code it, like so. Same thing with fire. If we do that, we can actually do this one. Well, you know, when you're testing that, boy, that noise really gets to you after a while.
And that's the testing phase. I mean, we've had to do that how many times?
More times than I care to actually own up to. I think I dreamed that noise now in my sleep. I'm like, 6869 while I'm sitting in bed.
Right. And you could change those off codes to anything that you want. It doesn't
Right.
necessarily have to be
If we
6869.
go in, you can go into setup and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Update settings. The same combination I have on my luggage. Yeah.
Yeah, the easy.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. I can't even type. So it's a good thing that you hired me because I got really sexy legs.
Right, exactly.
Security, maintenance, and actor lights, they produce alerts, but they don't produce noise. They just simply show. Well, if you're on that page, yes, there we go.
But I think it's very important to let people know that when they get the system, all they have to do is turn on the system and it'll fire up to that status screen. And right there is right where you set everything up, so they don't have to jump around screens and stuff.
Nope.
Literally, you're showing them what the actor sees, and then you're showing them what the display that we supply you with would show. So,
Right. I've done a kind of an override for the demonstration purposes to show both the status screen and the emergency screen here. Actually, if we do a stop and I grab my little camera, the real status screen as it is being shown is right there.
right.
And as I kick off, say, an actor light right there, it'll show on that screen and on this other one. Right. But
So the setup with this is extremely easy. All they're doing literally is plugging it in, changing the name of this, maybe changing the off code, adding their name of their haunts and their zones such as front door, kitchen, uh, Granny's grave, Zombie Land, whatever they want to name it, and going from there. And then the actors would just get a general overwrite of the what the system does and how to utilize it, and the managers and owners are the only ones capable enough to turn off or silence an alarm, which makes it a lot easier. Also, we kept in mind that maybe putting this in actors maybe not in their hands may not be the brightest of ideas, but your floor leaders or somebody that might, or the zone leaders, or somebody that might have a little bit more responsibilities with the haunt. It works the same way, correctly?
correct. It doesn't have to be a scare actor. It can be somebody who's actually not doing anything but just watching. Um, making sure that everything is operating as it should. Your general managers, your safety observers, even your designated fire people who are just there to watch for fire or problems. Doesn't have to be scare actors. I figure for smaller haunts, though, um, the possibility of them reusing people for multiple tasks would be somewhat high.
Real quickly, I had a question come in from Randy, and the question is, can we turn off the system, reset the system or turn off the problem from our cell phones and not the keyboard that's supplied? Absolutely, that was the way it was designed. The keyboard only comes with it to set up the original information, such as if you're looking at Lee's screen right now. He's setting up the name of the haunt and the off code. That's what our keyboard and mouse are used for, and the zones and the different haunts and whatnot. Your cell phone, if the alarm's going off, which Lee has pulled up now, this is what your cell phone would show, or an iPad or Android device, anything that can connect to the internet. It shows, see how it says off code there? That's how you're going to turn off the problem. So you have to be there to turn it off, and you have to see what the problem was to clear the code. So we made it kind of easy for everybody. You just can't run back to the computer screen and turn off the code. You actually, a manager has to go there and see what's going on in order to turn off the code because they're the only ones with the codes. So this way it gets taken care of appropriately, correctly?
Correct. It shows on all the phones. Once an alert is kicked off, all phones that are hooked up to it will A, make a noise, and B, vibrate to get the actor's attention. So even if they didn't set it off, they know that something's going on that they need to pay attention to. They can At that time, you pull out your cell phone or whatever, and you can put in the off code, and away you go. It. I'm trying to pull it up on mine here, and of course, my fingers are not good enough to. There we go. And we've tried to make it as easy as absolute possible. That there wasn't any need for it to do. Yeah, let's come off of this, and there's my cell phone hooked up to the system, and it's showing the same thing that the other screen was. If we go back to it, share screen, that one, it's showing that screen directly on my cell phone. I can put in the off code, and if I could type, choom, we get an update and see it cleared the zone. So everybody's back to green, we're back to scaring, and let's stop this, and you can see even my phone shows it. So even if I set it off somewhere else, like here, it's going to show on my phone that an alert has been issued, and you can see that. I think it, yeah, you can see that there it is, and I click this on another device, so all devices show. Well, there we go. And then here is I'm going to trigger another fire. And then mine will, it's vibrating right now. So I've got a burp, burp, burp. And you can hear the motor going off. Okay, 6669. There we go. And status screen is clear. And phone is clear, so we're all back to normal. Yes, you can turn this off with your phone. You can turn it off with any phone. It doesn't have to be yours to set it off.
Now, Lee, going into the program more in depth, we've designed it so it's extremely easy for anybody really to set up, to manipulate, to utilize. Now, one thing that I think we need to talk about, that I think where people are going to get confused, are going to be the outputs and inputs and what we've done and how we've done a lot of things. So I just want to run down that real quick because that's important.
That would be more your forte. You've got the wiring knowledge for the external hookups. You've integrated them with the lights, which is a whale of a job. I like it. And we've made it easy. It's hook up the red to the red and the black to the black.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we made it very, very easy, and here's an example for you, just so people know what we're talking about. Venom VFX puts out a ton of practical lighting and scene lighting, and now we're going into escape rooms and all this other stuff. But it's very important to discuss the inputs and outputs of the Hydra. And one of the inputs could be a pole station that we do sell.
Right. We have the hardline pull stations.
Right. And basically all you would do is wire this up, red and black, and run it to a bus bar that's feeding into that from one of our inputs. And you can activate this and it will show pull station, activated. Also, we sell the rate of rise sensors for the smoke detectors. We know that fog sets off the smoke detectors. So we got the rate of rise sensors integrated, where it has to reach 135 degrees Fahrenheit in order to set off the alarm, and then it will trigger the fire alarm through the Hydra system, and bada bing, bada boom. Also with the outputting, we do supply you a 7.5 amp hour battery. It's 12 volt DC. It does have a automatic recharge system built into it, so if you drain anything from it, it will recharge itself. But let me go over the light with you guys real quick. This is just one of the lights. This is the urgency light, and this is one of our effect lights that can sit off, like this, and this can strobe and whatnot. So we put the controller in it, and while this is controlling, if the power goes out, that's where this little device here, the little integration of the adapter, comes in, where you just run your negative to the negative, red is hot, all the way back to your bus bar to the output that we tell you to for emergency lighting, and boom, power goes out. This turns on, beating white, extremely bright. It only draws 0.03 of a milliamp, so it's very bright, very low power draw, and will last hours and hours and hours. That's any Venom light. So whether it's a bunker light, whether it's a fluorescent light, bulkhead light, you name it, any light that we put out, if you say that you have the Hydra system, or you do, we have you notated that you have the Hydra system, we instantly put up the adapters for the Hydra to be accepted from our lights and vice versa. And as well, if the power does get killed, the Hydra does have an alarm built into it that will signal very, very loud. It's 105 decibels that the power is out. Now, we also supply you, right out of the gate, you get supplied with 50 feet of a rope cage light. And that draws only 1.5 amps. And we've, 90 minutes is NFTA law. You have to supply emergency lighting sufficient enough for 90 minutes. Last time I checked. So we've crushed that, haven't we, Lee, as far as the battery backup system?
Well, I think our rough calculations was 5 to 6 hours. If you still have a problem after 5 to 6 hours, you want to go over the integration of the Hydra to the building fire alarm?
Yeah, I think that's a good one too. So, like I said, real easy, real quick. The Hydra will have outputs and inputs labeled. And that's where you would set it up. It's super easy. You can't mess it up. Everything's laid out there for you. And I'm available all the time to call or Google or anything like that to talk to me and get you all set up. We do supply the relay for the fire department that if their alarm trips, it will send a signal to the Hydra and trip the Hydra system, which is a new code. You have to have an existing system, and they have to have an existing system. So your HON has to have one, the building that you're in has to have one, and they'll both integrate with each other. So if this system goes off, this one goes off. If this one goes off, this one goes off. So we supplied the relay for that and made it extremely easy. All your fire alarm company has to do is just simply tie in the wires, and they're done. It can't get any easier than that. I see Randy has a good question here. Are the pull trigger setups, are they set up in a series or by a zone?
Series.
Yeah, it's a series.
Our initial setup, we designed series. We had spotted results on the zones, especially some of the runs if they got too long. We had a hard time issuing or being comfortable with that setup. So it's basically it's series. It's one after the other. It's a full-on loop. One goes off, they all are off.
Right, and the main reason, I've been a firefighter for a long time, and the main reason for that is if you get a pull station alarm, usually that means that someone either A, is playing a good joke on you, or B, there's a serious problem, and they're already seeing smoke and fire. So by that time that pull station is pulled, you should, within seconds have everybody evacuated and get everybody out of there and go to the Hydra system and see what the heck is going on. Because if you have our or our heat sensors, if there's a problem with heat, it's going to activate one of those sensors. So it'll say pull station alert, smoke, heat sensor alert. You're going to get all these alerts, and plus you're going to get the different actors. Oh, there's a fire, hitting on their cell phone. So you're going to know that there's a problem and where the problem is, because they're going to hit that room. So we made it.
It was a cost issue too, trying to keep the cost down to as a minimal amount for, not your large industrial haunt, but you just kitty park haunt or
Yeah. And Randy's got a good. Randy's got a good question or a good thing here, Lee. I'm sorry to cut you off completely there.
No,
but he said, yeah, it's a lot of wire too. Absolutely, it's a lot of wire if you're going to run zones, because you're running different lengths and different stuff. So it does make it a lot easier to run these in a series rather than in zones. So it's a lot easier for us to control. It's a lot easier for the system to see it and recognize it and understand what's going on. So yeah, it does save you on the wire, but you got to know that with the Hydra comes 1,000 feet of wire, so you're pretty much ready to go right out of the gate. But it does not come with these, and it does not come with the heat sensors. Those are separate purchases only. Lee, I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to definitely go back to you there.
No, great. Yeah, any questions? Let's answer them.
Yeah, I mean, while we're here, let's answer any and all questions that relate to the Hydra. I'm sure people have a ton of questions, but
we did kick around trying to do zones, but here again, the cost of wire for individual runs and the cost for a multiplexing unit to address every station was really going to add a lot of cost to it. And that's why we went with the series idea. You know, if somebody pulls the alarm, get everybody out, and then we'll figure out where it is. You know, let's err on caution. So it was a cost and a caution thing.
Right, yeah, it was strictly just caution, and and your hunt should have a good emergency evacuation plan. You guys should definitely drill once or twice before the hunt opens up. Your fire marshal will definitely love you if you're doing that. Get your fire department to come in and kind of do a walk around your local fire department. Let them get an idea of the layout and everything. Maybe if you got blueprints written down, whatnot. Give it to the chief. I know as a firefighter that will help tremendously if something does go awry. So I think that's very important as well. And then you showcase the Hydro system, and they're going to be like mind blown because it's home automation on steroids. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, totally. I mean, when we started kicking this thing around a while back, we knew we had a winner. We had to get through all the design concepts and all the other extra items that come along with it.
Yeah, and we made it very, 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 very easy to operate. Have we not?
Oh, totally. In fact, one of the people I tested with is my wife, who barely knows how to turn on the computer or turn on me for that matter. No, we're not getting into that. Yeah, and she found it easy to use. And I like the systematic interface. It's very clean. We do send it out with a basic setup that shows you pretty much everything you need to change. The name of the haunt. It'll figure out its own IP address from the router and display it on the screen for you to see. You can log your actors in when they log in, and when they log out, that is tracked. So you can do a simple time card system if you want.
Right.
You also have an alert list. If somebody says, well, I asked for maintenance or I hit the maintenance button, we track every alert that comes through the system, no matter what. Pool, heat, door, security, actor light, whatever. Everything that comes through this gets logged into a database and stored, and the length of time that it was on.
Right. So we've really hit every angle possible. Now, Randy, you said that your fire marshal wants a written plan. That's a good thing. That means that your fire marshal doesn't want to take risks, in my opinion. I'm a firefighter. I was trained at the fire academy. I was a paramedic for a long time. So to make a written plan is not hard. You have to get your layout in, and then show your easiest way to get out and egress and whatnot, and your fire connections if you have any inside, where everything's located. It's actually real easy. If you guys need any help with that, feel free to contact me. I'll be more than happy to help you out.
Actually, I was thinking, Chris, why don't we come up with kind of a boilerplate and just give it out to everybody, our haunt owners that need.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is we create the emergency escape plan.
Right, just a very simple document. You add a few things into it, and then, of course...
Kind of like a blueprint.
They'll have to add stuff like their floor plan.
Right.
That kind of stuff. But just sort of a boilerplate kind of a thing to at least get them in the right direction. Now, I'm sure the fire marshal will come along and want a couple of changes, but...
Sure. And you want to know what, though? I'm not, here's the other thing. I can guarantee you a fire marshal that doesn't understand the Hydra system is going to be confused, and he's going to want to either A, want written documentation on it, or B, talk to the people that built it. And we do supply you with written documentation, and we can be available for a phone call with the fire marshals. I've talked to about 4 of them already. It's no big deal. We work with them. It's not a big problem to work with the fire marshals, and use us on your side, because we do know what the requirements are and how to make the fire marshal work with you, and we're really big on that. I mean, Lee, if we needed to change anything within the code due to the fire marshal, can it be easily handled?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been programming for 35 years. I mean, you took this thing to Trans World. You had a couple of issues out on the floor. Now, I was not, due to work problems, I was not able to join you all at Trans World, but you would call me with a problem. I made a correction, emailed it to one of you all, and showed you how to put it in and fix it like that.
Right. So
I kept it simple because, I'm getting old.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, and the program can be changed on the fly, and we can definitely help you out if that's an issue and whatnot. So we do work with the fire marshals, and we do work with you, and we definitely want everything to work good, and to get you good help and everything else. Anybody else have any questions or anything else out there? And Randy, as far as your previous comment, you had asked if you can get UV lights to put into your show that can show messages for UV paint. Yes, we do supply UV lights. We can do that, absolutely.
But that's more of an escape room thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's more of an escape room thing, but you can definitely do it. Now, which brings me up, I mean, I know this is a little bit outside the Hydra realm, but one thing I definitely want to talk about is the Venom Hiss, real quick. He had asked, does the Hydra system have a channel to set off a CD player with information? That's where the Venom Hydra, or the Hiss, would come into play. That can be triggered, and it supports up to 4 different sounds that we supply you with, or you can put in your own. It's very, very simple, and literally it's 25 watts. It's extremely loud. Lee, how loud is the Hiss?
It's very loud. I mean, it's annoyingly loud, just like the alarm is.
Right.
You can definitely put all your instructions onto it, and we can trigger it from the Hydra, or you actually can trigger it manually.
So there you go. I mean, the Venom Hiss is definitely the way to go. That's available on our website, venomvfx.com. If you want to see more information on the Hiss, if you go to our Facebook page or on our website, you should be able to see a demo video of some sort on there. Now, Lee, going to escape rooms real quick. Let's see, mainly to highlight exit signs. Yes, Randy, that's important. Now, I believe the California code is you need a upper sign and a lower sign. So if the people are on the ground, they can see the lit sign. Am I correct on that one? You need a lower level sign, exit sign, and an upper level exit sign. I should be correct on that.
I believe that's how it is.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the...
And the exit signs have to be lit up and everything like that. So you're definitely going to have to, label your emergency exits and whatnot on your floor plan. Absolutely. That's the way to do it. You do a blueprint, or quick, you get some square paper. Yep. And you do your outline of your house. You put in your, I believe it's every other room. We were doing an emergency exit, and it was up top and down low. That ran from the emergency system as well. So if the power kicked out, you'd still see the lighting, and it was done and over with like that. So yeah, the fire marshals want to see your emergency exits. They want to see which way people are going to go. They want to make sure that those spots are cleared so people can get out of there in a hurry. That's all very, 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 very important stuff. So, yeah, definitely, I could definitely see why they would definitely request that. So, but we could definitely hook you up with kind of like a blueprint or a general idea on how you can, get people out and how you should make it look for your fire marshal and, for the fire department. So, we should definitely be able to help you take care of that. Now going back to the escape room stuff. Yes, grid paper is the best for doing that. Literally walk around, draw your grids, draw your squares, and you're good to go.
It doesn't have to be accurate. It just has to be close.
Right, it has to be close. And then you have to put those, the emergency escape plans, not only do they have to be put at every exit so people can see when they come out of that exit, oh, you're here, go this way. You know, you got to put them outside every emergency exit. You have to have one in the back. You have to have one everywhere. I would label them everywhere. The less things that the fire marshal has to complain about, the better. So that's probably the best way to go with those. Now, going back to the escape room thing real quick. Lee, we just put out a new product. We have it. It's on our Facebook page right now that you can see it. It's called the Morse code generator. And can you just talk briefly about it? I know you probably don't have one queued up to show, but can you just talk briefly?
Well, we started getting requests, I believe at Transworld, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For escape room stuff. And somebody had asked for a Morse code light flashing generator that they could type in a message and it would flash this message in Morse code. And well, sure, we can look it up and, you know, have something like this. If you include say a plaque or a sign that shows how to read Morse code, this thing, it integrates. We took the Hydra core program, which is basically the web services, and we adapted it to do this Morse code idea. I don't have Morse code on this one. I wish I did. I could show it, but it's a very simple style interface. It uses just a web input box, just like you would here. If we go into the setup and general setup, you type in your message and you press the enter key, and it will flash a light in the Morse code pattern for the people to read. And then you can key it over again, or you can set it to, you know, copy and paste if they don't get it the first time. Do it again for them. We're looking to integrate that with our escape room system. So that's something that's still on the drawing board, which Chris doesn't want on the drawing board. He wants into production, but we've got a few more things we got to cross on that platform to do.
Right.
What I'd like to do is, I know that you get these escape room junkies that keep coming over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my thought on it was, if we develop a control system that you basically lock them in the room, it's got the puzzles, you slap a big old go key and the clock starts counting, and all you have to do is watch, and the computer controls all of it. And they have to solve the first puzzle in order to get the next puzzle energized for them to work on, and so forth. And then the thought was, we could also randomize the puzzles. So the first time you have puzzle 1, puzzle 2, puzzle 3. Next time you might have puzzle 3, puzzle 1, puzzle 2.
Right, so, and you're talking with a bunch of computer gurus that have nothing better to do than try to come up with ingenious ways on how to confuse people. So that's like more of our element. Am I right or wrong? I mean, boy, can you imagine how long we can lock somebody in a room?
Well, you know, I would say no, but unfortunately I resemble that remark, so.
Now, Randy, do you have any questions as far as the Hydra is concerned? Like I said, I would definitely purchase additional lighting, whether it's this style light, the bunker light, the fluorescent light, because it comes with the battery, the adapter in there to receive the Hydra's emergency power. So it would power up really bright in the area. So I would definitely recommend that. Now, do you have any questions as far as the Hydra or lighting or anything of that matter? Now would be the awesome time to do it.
Pizza's done.
Randy's got a good question, Lee. He would like a board-like screen so he can print messages.
Print messages?
Yeah. He would like a Ouija board-like screen so he can print messages.
Oh, okay, so this is going into escape room stuff.
Yep. So let's say this is going into an escape room thing. Can we make that happen?
Well, as a old programming teacher used to tell me, the only reason a program doesn't get written is due to lack of imagination on the programmer's end.
So it can be done.
The answer is always going to be yes.
Okay.
Now, it might take us a bit, you know, but yeah, I believe we can do something like that.
I mean, it would have to be a custom build thing, but yeah, we can
It
definitely.
would definitely be a custom built thing, but yes, it can be done.
Right, can be done.
Something can. Now, usually people like to spec out Yugos, and they expect Ferraris later on. So,
Right.
but yeah, we can do that. I mean, it's a matter of input. Um, hit up a couple of artists maybe to get us a design on a Ouija board with a movable sprite. Yeah, we could probably do that.
Awesome. Yeah, it never ends. You know, we can always come up with the most shocking stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a good question actually, Lee. We are an outside haunt. Can the Hydra trip a backup generator?
If it's got an automatic start circuit that is some sort of dry contact, like you push a button or something that we can interface a relay to, yes,
So
we
hopefully,
could do that.
hopefully,
I mean,
Randy, that answers your question. But you wouldn't need a backup generator because we supply you backup power, so that
right,
totally
yeah,
eliminates that.
the generator is a little on the redundant side. I mean, you're going to get 5 hours out of the Venom and the Hydra and the lights, your core lights. You're going to get more than the required hour and a half, which is 90 minutes of lighting. And when the Hydra goes off, all lights, if they're Venom lights, they come on. So it's everything down to sconces, bunker lights, fluorescents, actor lights, all that comes on. And I think we get what basic setup is 5 hours or it was a little more than 5 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit more than 5 hours, and we can actually turn that up. Yeah, you know, I honestly, Randy, the more lights, the better. They do want a lot of lights. There's no question there.
Yeah.
Like I said, right out of the gate, you're getting 50 feet of our actor lighting. It's extremely bright. You literally rope it down like the middle section of your haunt. If you got haunt walls this way and haunt walls this way, you'd put it down the middle in every other, you'd put it in every other room. And those will click on right away if the power goes out. And like I said, every Venom light that you get can be turned into an emergency light, so it will fly on. And these are really bright. I mean, they're not dim lights. They're very, very bright. They're 50/50s, extremely bright. So,
We're using LED lights because they are extremely bright for very little weight, and their consumption is actually very low. So we get an extended period of time using these 50/50 LEDs. We can also program them to do an awful lot of different effects, but we also have the ability to override the effect and say, no, it's an emergency. Boom. Outside, that sounds like a tent haunt, so, sort of one of the things that Leonard Pickerel was talking about.
yeah, I mean, there is no question that we can easily supply you with a lot of light. And yes, I could definitely see why the police department and fire departments would want you to have a lot of light. There's no question there.
Yeah.
The more light, the better to get your audience out if there's an emergency. So, yeah, we can definitely hook you up with a lot of lights. There's no question.
Well, that's why we designed them also to do double duty. That way you don't have to buy two different sets of lights. You just get one. And it's going to be an effect light, and good Lord willing, and you never have to use it as an emergency. But if so, there it is. And
Right.
two,
And
we could put some of this stuff into things like medieval stuff because you've got a castle. Well, they're not going to have emergency lights, and castles back in 16, 1700s, but they would have torches or sconces, and the emergency lights can be put into those.
Randy says he found LED floodlights, 5 watt, 12 volt for 500 lumens. Or 5,000 lumens.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of power that some of these LEDs put out is just staggering.
Right.
I mean,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Some of them are blinding. I saw one where one guy had like a 1,000 lumen flashlight, and it was just a small LED hooked up to a huge old heat sink. But I'm like, my word! I remember when 2 D-cell batteries, and you're going, wow, that's pretty bright.
Yeah, now look at it, right? Look what it's become. It's absolutely amazing.
Now you can go, hey, let's put that spot on the moon.
Yeah, see, yeah, done, over with. Randy, you got any more questions? We'll give him a minute here.
Yeah, wait on the lag. Which is actually about right on time for me.
Yeah.
We're getting some really good questions out of this. It's been fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is good. This is what I want. I want a lot of questions because people need to to know the system. It's very important. He thinks he's good. He thinks that he's got pretty much all the questions and that he wants to ask.
Well, you want to give them our Facebook address and Gmail address?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can check us out at www.venomvfx.com. You can go to our Facebook page, Facebook.com/Venom VFX. You can go email us, venomvfx@gmail.com. I think I already said that, didn't I, Lee? You can tell how tired I am.
I don't know.
I don't know what you said. And you can get a hold of me at 585-204-0445, or the number you already have will get you to me. So hopefully this was good for you, Randy. I hope you understand everything that we kind of laid out for you. Let me know if you kind of understand it or if you want us to go over anything else.
Be more than happy to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to get you to understand the system. It's very important.
Okay, music on hold. Come fly me away.
Well, while he's thinking of any questions, I'm gonna put this commercial up. Okay, guys, this is our emergency light effect. This is one of the most talked about lights that we have. Yes, it is an emergency fixture. Right now we have it doing a special effect. It comes with multiple different modes, up to 12 different modes. It does use a remote control. This is designed to create chaos within your scene. It runs off a 12 volt DC, and it does come with the power adapter to plug directly into 110. Plug it in, and away you go. This is the Hydra connection that we put with some of our units. If you have the Hydra or the Viper, all you have to do is run the cord that we supply you to the red and the black, just like you're hooking up a speaker, and instantly this turns this light into an emergency light as well as a special effect light. Alright, so that was our Venom urgency light that you can get from us. Fairly easy to set up. Everything's good.
See how much money we've raised? Oh, sorry, this is not the telethon.
I know, we'll be doing that next week. So if anybody, if there's no other questions out there, I guess it's time for us to sign off. I really appreciate you guys checking out the Venom Hydra and asking some questions. And Lee, do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, Lee.
Lee says goodbye. So we are out for the night, guys.